Hello and welcome to Warp Factor Unknown, the podcast where we delve into the world of Star Trek for an unpredictable rewatch and discussion. I'm your host Dan, and joining me today is the favourite to be the next Dax host, Tom.
Greetings everyone, nice to be here as Dax host.
And we're also joined by... Sorry.
I can't react to it even though...
No, it's like... I don't know what to say.
We are also joined by Jacob. May the prophets guide you.
Yay! Hello. This will be my first proper episode.
It is. You're here on not a bonus episode.
Yeah.
It's great.
Even though I've got 4 episodes already. No, wait. I've got more than that.
I think now 5 you've had.
5, wow.
You're like our regular bonus host.
Yeah. It's like so demeaning.
When you're now here on the A-team, you've been promoted.
Okay.
Got the pit.
I was clearly commercially successful enough.
You had a few minor successes with your downloads, just a few. You managed to get double digits.
Just the one episode.
Yeah. Today, we are talking about the Deep Space Nine episode, Crossfire. That's from Season 4, Episode 13. Before we get in talking proper about that, we're going to have a little recap, a little synopsis. Tom's going to deliver that for you. Pass over to Tom now.
The episode follows the arrival of Shakar, the First Minister of Bajor, on Deep Space Nine for political meetings with the Federation. As his security detail, Odo and Worf are tasked with ensuring his safety. This becomes difficult following a credible assassination.
That's spelled wrong.
That's all right, don't worry. This becomes difficult following... This becomes difficult... That's all right. I thought, what's an assassination? Right. This becomes difficult following a credible This becomes difficult... I can't read it.
Type it for you.
That's right. This becomes difficult following a credible assassination threat. However, Odo struggles emotionally as he realizes that Major Kira, whom he secretly loves, has developed a romantic relationship with Shakar. Odo's unspoken feelings cause him distress, leading him to withdraw from Kira and become increasingly distracted from his duties. His emotional turmoil even results in lapse of security, allowing an assassination attempt to come dangerously close to succeeding. Though Shakar survives, Odo blames himself for the oversight. As the episode progresses, Odo confides in Quark, who surprisingly offers insight into heartbreak and coping with loss. In the end, Odo resigns from his routine morning meetings with Kira, choosing to distance himself to heal.
I'm amazed that you got the, you spelt it correctly the second time, but incorrectly
Yeah, that's what threw me off. Because I was about to say assassination again, and then he spelled it right.
Yeah, assassination. Yeah, all right.
It's all right.
There was only one spelling mistake.
Assignation. I don't know how you pronounce that.
It threw me.
Whatever. Anyway. Thank you, Tom. That was great, as always.
Bit
and
rough.
there was definitely no mess-ups or mispronunciations
Absolutely not.
or bad spelling in there. It was a perfectly written and perfectly delivered synopsis.
Exactly.
That our listeners would never know how bad it was.
Leave it all in.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah. Our
we
view
want our
count.
listeners to return.
Our view count plummets. Down to 6. Anyway.
Does somebody want to kick us off? We're back at DS9. I fucking love DS9.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, I was going to ask, how many episodes of DS9 is this for both of you?
Oh,
For the podcast?
this must be our 5th or 6th?
Yeah, about that. We had a two-parter a while ago. We had the one where we went to the Mirror Universe.
That's a good one.
With Explodo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few. At least 4.
Okay,
It was at least a 4.
Pretty
maybe
dense
more.
into it. Because, this would be my second for the podcast.
Which one did we have?
Well, the last one was Little Ship.
Oh, it was. Of course it would. Yeah, we did One Little Ship.
Yeah, one little
What a good
ship.
episode.
But then was there, on the previous bonus series, I don't think we had DS9. It was Voyager and Picard.
Yes.
So, yes,
was
this would be
Picard.
my second DS9.
You know, it's amazing. So this is including the bonus episodes, we would have recorded I don't know, 30 episodes maybe. And it's amazing how much I've just forgotten what we've spoken about.
Yeah.
But if you say it's 30 episodes and this is your 5th, that's a large fraction of the entire playlist is DS9.
Yeah, I've got all the episodes we record and stuff. I have them all graphed out. I have them all on a spreadsheet. And I could, I'm not, but I could, like, do some graphs and stuff. I'm not going to because I don't want to. But I do have all the data there.
Send it to me.
I'll
Do the data editing. It'll be cool.
Well, let us get a bit bigger first. We'll get some patrons, and then we can have it as like bonus content, like behind a paywall.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to do.
Access to the data.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
We know where you live.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so we had a few DS9. DS9's great. Though, saying that, Tom, I don't know if you remember when we recorded the last episode, when we got this one and we were reading out the synopsis for it, we was all a bit like, oh, this one's boo, because none of us really liked or likes the Odo-Kira relationship.
Yeah.
I still don't. But this episode was better than I thought it was.
Me too. I initially wasn't looking forward to watching this episode, but I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a different episode. I thought this was an episode where Kira was like down on Bajor at like a monastery, but I don't know what that one is.
It's a bit sad though, isn't it? Like it's all like
What, this episode?
Yeah, I will say that the whole like this is better than I remember it because I kind of forgotten it. But the whole like getting rid of that love story, great. I don't think that whole Kira Odo thing ever worked. It was a bit odd, but like. It's going to be hard to review a story which is about one specific subplot along the last 3 seasons, and it's just a really well-written love story, and it's all just sad at the end because he has to go off and be lonely.
Yeah, well, no, because they do eventually, by the end of the DS9, they get together.
Well, that was my question. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. No, it's fine. It's just not, I don't think it's the most believable pairing. Yeah, Odo and Kira, they get it on. Tom, do you have any thoughts on Odo and Kira?
Well, having not watched DS9 as a whole for quite a while now, in fact, as we know from my previous appearances when I talked about DS9, I do not believe I've ever watched the whole series in its entirety. So
of course,
wow.
Even up to I think I know I've watched up to I think the middle half of season 6, which some people would say is the best season. Sorry, but from what I can remember, I loved it. But I stopped for whatever reason, so I can't remember if the Odo-Kira getting together came before that, or if it was later, maybe in season 7. I don't know.
It's definitely towards the end of the run, but I don't know if it's 6 or 7.
Yeah. So this to me was like I can remember this episode from when I watched it the first time through, and I remember liking that episode then. So as far as I was aware, this was the conclusion. So it's nice to know that the romance continues.
I'm kind of like, I forgot you hadn't watched all DS9. Jacob, have you watched all DS9?
I've watched all of it, so I'm just shocked that Tom's not seen the last season.
I know.
It was
probably,
it's probably like the best length of Star Trek episodes I think there's ever been released. Do
you know what? I also haven't watched all of Voyager, so as far as I know, they haven't got back to Earth, or I presume they.
Did you watch all TNG?
Yeah. Actually, I did watch all TNG. I loved it multiple times. I had
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Voyager, but you could probably skip. I mean, the last episode is a bit nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of Voyager that is, as we found, we've had a few Voyager episodes, and I think we've had 2 or 3, and they've all been kind of mid, kind of boring, fine. I'm like, where's the good stuff? Where is it? It's in there somewhere.
I do think like this is my first watch back of a lot of these episodes doing this podcast since I watched it during like 2021, 22, and some of these are much better than what I remember it. I think they've aged well, and this episode's aged well, I would say.
Yeah, I think some episodes they do better on a rewatch. After you see them before. I mean, obviously, I say that because I've obviously even before this podcast had seen all Star Trek, so I guess I'm always rewatching. I suppose. Freaking ultra nerd over here.
A couple of things, because I couldn't remember this Odo-Kira love story at all. So now you've already told me that was always a thing. That's annoying, because it's always weird. But is this like the first episode where Odo and Quark become friends? Because I know they were friends in the later part of DS9. I remember that. Is this kind of where it starts?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would suspect they've always been kind of like, was it like frenemies?
Yeah. But this is like the first thing they do
1.
This is like the first thing they do a nice thing for each other.
Oh no, there must have been more than
I think
that.
Because even this wasn't that nice, and they both grudgingly didn't want to admit to each other that they'd done this thing. So I don't know, they've always had that mutual respect.
Yeah.
or none,
Yeah,
or lack of respect.
I'm trying to think. Does anyone remember what season that episode? Do you remember the episode where Odo and Quark get stranded on an alien planet? They got to climb a mountain together.
Oh, I do
Remember that one? It's like a survival episode.
That's before this, wasn't it?
And yeah, I think it might be. I have no idea what it's called. I don't know where it is, but yeah, I would suspect there's been other little moments before now. But I think it's becoming more established by this point of the show that like it is more of a friendly rivalry, and actually, they don't really hate each other. They love each other, really.
I was also going to ask that is this a first Worf episode? Because I couldn't remember, but I just did a quick Google, and it is not.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
I had that note as well. Is like, I love that Worf is here. It's obviously not his first episode in DS9, but it's one of his first episodes.
Yeah,
it's almost like he's been here like a week, sort of. That's the vibe you get.
I was going to say the similarities between Odo's way of thinking and who are we talking about?
Worf.
Worf. God, I forgot his name. I don't forget Worf's name. The similarities between pretend we haven't said that. So the similarities between Odo and Worf's personalities were quite entertaining, I would say. The fact they both agreed that the room, you shouldn't invite anyone, don't invite this person back, make tactics to...
I had a note on that of just how oh yeah, don't let O'Brien back in. Just
I
fuck him
know.
off. That's so funny.
Yeah, that's great. And I was watching. I was like, oh shit! Like those guys, they're the true couple here. That's the love story. Odo and Worf.
Yeah.
That's where we should have gone.
The B plot.
Yeah, because like Odo's like a jelly person. He's a changeling. Like he shouldn't sort of define man or woman or anything like that. So he should be like, Worf, hello. That
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Cross all boundaries.
I didn't have that as a note, but I'm like just thinking, yeah.
The reason why I brought up is it his first episode was because I was like, is TNG still going on at this point? Because I had to find out the date of when this episode came out, and it's the 23rd of January 1996. So when did TNG finish?
So TNG season 6 was when... Or was it season 3 when DS9 started?
No, because surely Worf was in all of TNG.
Yes, he was, wasn't he?
So then obviously that must have finished, and then he came to DS9.
I've got a feeling it's TNG 6 is when DS9 started. I'll check on that.
Yeah, but Worf didn't join till like season 4.
No, he didn't. No.
But when did filming of TNG end? Wasn't it 1994?
Yeah, it was.
And his first episode in DS9 is October 2nd, 1995. So yeah. So but then they might have been filming one of the films, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one with the first film, I guess.
Yeah, because there's like the second film, First Contact, like they have an excuse for Worf being there, like the Defiance at the Battle of War 359.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever it is, Sector Zero, whatever. Yeah, the Borg battle.
Oh yeah,
the cool space battle.
Yeah, and he's in DS9 by that point, or.
Yeah. So the Defiance hit that battle, and it gets destroyed, and they beam on the crew, and then hello, Worf's here for the TNG movie.
Yeah.
But then like the third and fourth movie, Worf is just there, and there's no excuse of why he's there and not on DS9. And then back on DS9, there's no mention of any of the movies, that they have no continuity between the two.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little sad.
Bit of geeky knowledge here. I just Googled. So TNG season 6 takes place on stardate year 2369. And then DS9.
Nice.
So the same year as DS9 season 1. So they're season 6 of TNG. And then also DS9 season 3, 2 years later, is the same season as Voyager season 1. So season 3.
Okay.
Yes, because the very first episode of Voyager, like they're on DS9.
Yeah.
Like Harry Kim's there with Quark in it. Yes,
that's right.
I always like that.
I was always curious about crossover.
I always like that, how they linked the two, like the 3 seasons together.
Yeah.
They always had the first episode was referencing the previous show. How would you call it?
Oh yeah,
Because these are spin-offs, right? So how would you call what's prior to a spin-off? The original, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Was it the original, the first episode of DS9 when like Cisco's giving Picard a good old talk down? Love that.
Yeah, if Cisco if he was a better actor at the time, but yeah.
Yeah,
he goes into it.
I actually liked his acting then. I didn't like him in the Calamarain episode, but I did like him in that. I was like Wolf something 359 or whatever it was. The way he said it's to Picard, it's.
Yeah.
dramatic.
He can be quite airy in his voice, his
Yeah.
pronunciation.
Dan, that sorry, I was going to say the Odo and Quark's mountain climb very quickly. That was actually in season 5, episode 9. So that was
Season 5. Okay, so
after
this
the
might be
failed
like
romance.
the establishing thing of that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So now we know.
Now I was going to take us to Cisco because we were just chatting about him. I like at the beginning of the episode when Shakar comes onto DS9, like the first thing he says, like, "Oh, I've always wanted to meet the emissary," and Cisco just like brushes it off. It's like he's at this point in DS9, he's still firmly not the emissary.
Yeah.
It's not really the part he wants to play. But then like later in the show, he gets more comfortable with that role. So I like that. I was a nice touch. I like that.
As you mentioned, the First Minister. Who's that actor?
Got a clue? I don't know. You tell me.
So this is where I'm going to shout at Emma. This would have been brilliant if she was on this episode. Because this is the actor who plays the ghost in Sub Rosa as TNG.
Is it really? Of course it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
So if she was here to do this one, it would be nice to follow on.
Excellent. Well, I didn't catch that.
I only luckily saw it because I was like, every actor that comes onto a Star Trek episode are famous for a thing, or they've done a thing before, or they've been in multiple episodes. So I was like, I'm going to quickly Google it. And I was like, oh my god, he's the ghost, and he sleeps with Beverly Crusher. It's so good.
So he's just going round. Is he on Voyager? Just like, does he like bed somebody in Voyager? Because he bedded Beverly.
So
now he's bedded Kira.
At least in this, when I saw it on Memory Alpha, the synopsis, it just said that he's the ghost in TNG, and then he's a recurring character in DS9.
Oh well, had a feeling with Torres or something.
Well, she would beat the shit out of him.
So would Kira. And Beverly, given the right circumstances.
So hang on, he was a ghost that got into it with Beverly. Really? Is that right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, he's in Sub Rosa.
Did she know? Because it's been a while since I watched this episode.
Wait.
Hang on.
Do you not remember the episode of Sub Rosa, Tom?
It was a really bad one, wasn't it?
It's that famously bad one where Beverly makes love with her grandma's ghost.
I must watch this episode.
Boyfriend.
No, I really don't.
I'm
going to refresh
don't
myself.
Bother.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, don't.
Just listen to the
it's
podcast.
Actually right. Well, me and Emma, we actually had a good time chatting about that.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll watch it. It's one of the few episodes that I was hoping to get on this podcast, and I didn't get it, and Emma got it. And I was like,
no,
it would have been hilarious.
Did get Conspiracy.
Conspiracy was picked. I chose it, so that was very good.
Talk about it.
Yeah, that was very good.
Odo's morning routine when he's like in his little office and he's like in a chair just right, getting the little cup of coffee.
He's so happy. He's in his
really
element,
cute.
Isn't he?
I love it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
How do you pronounce that drink?
Ractigino.
Oh, yeah, nice. I wrote it down as it's spelled because I put subtitles on, but I cannot pronounce it.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for someone I know to go to the States so that I can get one of those mugs because you can still buy them, but they don't ship to Europe or the UK.
I've made a note on those mugs. They are so unusable. How do you get them out of the fluid out of the bottom?
Google them. They're called Hot Joe mugs.
But they're like beveled.
It's like a travel mug.
But they're like
an insulated travel mug.
But they're like beveled, so that's like a triangle at the bottom. So how do you get the liquid out?
There are a few versions throughout DS9, but yeah, I really want one.
What is it called?
Hot Joe. One word. HOTJO, and they still make them, and that's great. And I really want one. One day I'll go to America and I'll go pick one up just for that. When it's just after Shakar's made that speech, and there's been that sort of assassination threat, and then Cisco, Kira, and I forget the guy's name, like his attendant, the minister guy for Shakar. They're in Cisco's office and they're talking about, we should cancel the visit. And Kira says that the second you negotiate with terrorists, you lose, and like it's like Shakar when the Cardassians started talking to him, so he was just fighting him, he knew that the occupation was his days were numbered. And I was like, that's really good. I quite like that. That's a pretty nice little train of thought to go on there. That's pretty interesting.
I mean, there are a lot of points in this entire thing which is so like relevant to modern day.
I mean, like, so this was, made in the mid 90s.
1996. It was came out.
Yeah,
So it was filmed in what 95 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Which I know, obviously, it's an American show, but like,
It's only 3 years up. It's only 3 years after the fall of the Berlin Wall.
yeah, they had Berlin stuff, but also like in Ireland as well.
Oh yeah, Troubles.
Yeah, the Troubles, exactly. So yeah,
When was Bloody Sunday?
it's interesting, isn't it? All that stuff. You know, my knowledge of about like Troubles and Irish history is actually pretty poor.
Yeah, mine is too.
And I was chatting to Madeline about it. I forget what I was talking about.
1972.
And I said, to understand that sort of history and conflict, I feel like I'd want to go and read like some much earlier Irish history. And like, it's a bit of an investment. So one day, so somebody would like to sort of look up topics one day.
I did listen to a podcast on it before. It might have been Behind the Bastards, which is generally sort of a summary overview, but it was we as the British were not great at a lot of stuff, and this is an example of it.
Yeah, no, you've heard of the British Empire, right? We're not,
Yeah.
not all like, sailing on the high seas and just going getting a bit of tea. It's pretty brutal stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did to the Irish.
Yeah, but Victor's right to history and all that, Jacob. So we're the good guys.
Apparently. But going back to the episode correlation, though, they do mention, like, obviously Bajor trying to join, like, the Federation. And do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of, like, Eastern European countries after the collapse of the Soviet Union trying to join the EU.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
The fall of the Soviet bloc.
Which is, like, before any of this happened. Because this episode was, filmed in 1995, probably written in early 95. No, the collapse of
the
the
USSR
Soviet...
fell like 1990, wasn't it?
No.
Was it 90 or 91?
It was 94 it fell, was it? It was 92. So it was around about the same period. But the...
Yeah, same period,
yeah,
but it wasn't before.
Yeah, but my point that I was going to follow on was that it was only until 2004 where you had a huge expansion of the EU bloc eastward, which is like... And so it's like, none of this happened yet. So, like, the actual historical correlation of it, it's like, wow, actually, they kind of were a bit ahead of reality.
Star Trek's really good at, like picking up on those, like, current political cues. And I'd be interested, like, in 10, 15, 20 years to watch Star Trek coming out now, like Discovery and stuff, or Changing Worlds, and sort of seeing, like, how right it was.
Yeah.
Or, like, at the time, does that make sense?
Because I know they have like consultant scientists when they're making these episodes, especially with TNG. I heard once that they have people in that they consult to say, like, is this practical for the future? Will this actually happen? And they hypothesize. So I'm sure they have the same with politics and thinking like that as well. Like, could these real world events happen in the future? Yeah,
you're right. But they do have consultants. I'm sure Jacob would have some points to say about the actual scientific value of some of those hypotheses. And also, we would be remiss without sort of saying that they also get it wrong a lot, very badly. Case in point, Chakotay, and that famously bad consultant who wasn't an expert in Native American culture.
He said he was.
Yeah, he was just a fake, just did some fraud. So, which is partly why that character sucks so much. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I wanted to talk about Odo's security routine. Like, when he's talking to Worf about how he likes order and stuff, Odo's like, "Oh yes, the shopkeepers on the promenade, they set their watch by me."
Yeah,
I'm like, that's a stupid idea for security.
Yeah,
everyone knows when they can commit crime. It's like, Odo's gonna be on the promenade.
11:07.
I can go.
Yeah,
exactly. He should keep it random. Oh, yeah. I'm niggling. Also, other niggle about security. They make a big point about, like, Shakar having to, like, have security all over, in his path, in his route. Just transport everywhere. Why can't you just beam here, beam there? Beam straight to the temple.
That's true.
Straight to the wardroom.
Maybe
why is he walking?
Doesn't like it.
You could beam anywhere at any time. On any
Exactly.
ship.
Why is he walking? Yeah.
No, but, like... when they're on Enterprise, why do they beam to a room?
Enterprise.
Yeah, why don't they just beam straight onto the bridge or into Captain Picard's
actually, in Discovery,
office?
they do side-to-side transports way more in Discovery, and it kind of fits. It feels kind of natural. Sometimes they will literally just beam to the next room, and that does feel a bit stupid. But Yeah,
That's
but
what
in this
I
case-
do in the future if because I'm being quite lazy. If I had
Yeah,
to
just
get to another room.
beam yourself directly from your bed to the bath.
Yeah, well, it's got to be. I guess if you're lying down in bed, you'd have to beam yourself lying down to another room. So imagine that though. If you're sitting down in a chair, would the chair beam with you, or would you just? You wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Or
Would
the transporter like stretch you out and stand you up.
I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
I have a more fundamental question for the both of you. Can you then, as you beam, have food beamed into your stomach so you'll never need to eat? Or they never go to the toilet because it also beams out your urine and other bits?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be great.
does it all like automatically filter it?
Well, we know they have sonic showers, but I can't say I've ever seen them have like a sonic toilet. So maybe.
You just want. Sorry, I watched a thing recently. It was like Enterprise, and they, because in later versions of TV shows, when they have all of the beaming, they don't need. They already automatically scan out biological contaminants.
Yeah.
But in Enterprise, they all gel each other up with cream.
Yes, they do, the decon gel.
Decon gel.
Those
and then they gotta sit there
weirdly
for
sexy
hours.
scenes.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Sorry, it's on my mind.
It's so weird.
It's so weird.
It's just an excuse to have all these beautiful people in a room, kind of in their underwear, just rubbing gel on each other. It's weird.
Should we get back
So you
to the episode?
having not watched much of Enterprise either, surprisingly.
Oh yeah, this is your first experience, Tom.
I've not heard about the lubing before the
It's a full
transport
body
thing.
lubing.
Is it? Oh my god.
Yeah,
They even do it to the dog.
they do. They do.
We're gonna have to watch it Enterprise.
This is why Enterprise is Dan's favorite.
I see.
Star Trek.
More lubing.
It's weirdly sexual.
Yeah.
I've obviously got a thing for that, apparently. Yeah. Okay. Odo's belt. That's also cute.
Yeah.
I like that Kira gives him a compliment. I'm sure, as you guys know, guys don't always get compliments that often. It's always nice to get a little "looking good today," like your hair or whatever.
And how happy he looks after he gets a compliment. It's
Exactly.
Like,
It makes someone's day to give him a little compliment. Yeah. Love it.
Good, nice touch.
Even though I think the belt looks crap, but
Yeah.
It's the same colour. Would you not have a different colour? Like, I don't know, glowing.
he's got no drip.
It just blends in too much. I think she should say like
Yeah.
your belt, I know, but it needs to be better quality.
Flashier.
Yeah, better fashion.
Did he have that belt in previous seasons?
Yeah, must do.
Like, 'cause I just don't know. I don't remember if he took it off at one point randomly and
No.
then it was gone.
And I'd be curious if, like, in the next few episodes, if he keeps not wearing it.
Oh yeah,
That'd be kind of
because
cool.
of memories.
Like to have that bit of continuity. Yeah. Because DS9's pretty good at like remembering things from previous episodes, and it'll bring them back.
But didn't they film these one after another though? Right. So you thought they would get it.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll be a bit out of order, but for the most part, they'll be. Should be. Do you remember the episode where Quark's bar gets shut down by the Ferengi, tax people, whatever they're called, and yeah, they say he can't do business no more, and they put, I think it's Brunt, he puts like a poster on the wall, to say, don't come and do business here, sort of thing. And then for like the rest of the show, that poster stays on the wall as part of the set. I'm like,
That's
Nice,
cool.
nice touch.
yeah, it's little tiny touch, little tiny details.
There was a Red Letter Media video where they got their hands on the Defiance console panel. Did you see this?
No.
I did not know.
Yeah, they got their hands on the Defiance console panel, which was up to like season 5 or 6, midway through the season. It was all broken in bits, and they repaired it and then mounted it on their wall. But it's the episode where they get... I don't know, they actually might be the episode One Little Ship, where they get attacked. It explodes. The panel explodes, and one of the ensigns just falls on it. And so the thought is that the ensign fell on it, broke it, and then they replaced it. And so after that event, you can see the panels are slightly different. They've got new lights, and they're more live.
Excellent.
Which I think is really cool little detail.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense as well because, in the show, actually the show, the panels are always exploding. So it wouldn't feel wrong for them to change occasionally throughout the course of the show.
So I think they only did it once, and it's because the stuntman did a mistake. But I still thought it was cool. Like just following off your point of consistency in like the entire thing is they kept that same panel the entire time, and then they replaced it, changed it a little, but you just don't notice. And then they use that for the rest of the time, the Defiance in the show. So it's cool.
Yeah, do like those little details. Okay, Quark. I like that Quark is showing an interest in having that kind of like frenemy kind of thing going on with Odo. But I don't really understand why he cares so much. It kind of felt a little forced in this one.
Yeah.
Don't you guys? What do you guys make of that sort of side plot?
I also felt it was a bit forced compared to how Quark normally is, and how annoyed he was with Odo making all that noise in his room or next door, all shape-shifting. It seemed a bit weird at the end when he came across all friendly to myself.
Yeah, it's just a bit too friendly. I don't know. I'm not too sure why it didn't land with me, but for some reason it just didn't quite land with me.
I kind of have the opposite. More because I think my more recent memories is the later seasons where that Quark is actually trying to be nice to people that he considers kind of friends, and he does have that slight side to him by the end.
Yeah.
And so it's more natural, but I can't remember much of season 1 to 3 at the moment.
Oh yeah, no. I like that Odo and Quark have that sort of love-hate relationship. I just didn't quite buy it in this episode, and I can't really tell you why.
Okay. My strongest memory of the episode is just how stupid the First Minister is. Of just like, you're going to be assassinated, and I'm just going to walk onto the promenade and see as many people as possible.
Yes.
And I had the exact same reaction.
Threat,
Yeah, like I had the exact same reaction the first time I watched this episode. I was like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I was going to say that him like walking out like and meeting people, it's also more stupid because it's like, you're a terrorist, and literally a few years ago if you did this you would be immediately killed.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, but I reckon he would counter by saying that if he hides away from terrorists, then it just shows weakness. He'd also lose,
Yeah, it's just the way it goes about and the way the actor portrays it. It just was like, this just feels weird. Like maybe
it's very casual.
Yeah,
He doesn't take the threat seriously at all.
Yeah, I guess it's the direction as the actor was told to be. It was a bit off, but
and kind of like still on that kind of security thing. It was more back to sort of Odo a little bit. Is it the first bit of the episode, like the first half of the episode? Odo is, he knows every single move that Shakar's making, and he's sort of there every step of the way. But then, like halfway through the episode, when Shakar and Kira get together, then Odo sort of drops the ball. He then knows nothing. He doesn't know anything. There's one little scene where he's waiting for his morning briefing with Kira, and she comes in. She's like, I was on having coffee with Shakar, and I'm going to go give him a tour. And Odo knows nothing. I'm like, well, I know he's distracted, but that just makes no sense.
Yeah.
He should know roughly that man's movements.
I read it that he knew. He just didn't want to admit it to himself. Like, didn't want to, like...
Oh. I see. So it's kind of like that bit where, like, he was standing outside her quarters and they're both in there having a great time.
He knows what's going on.
And he was like, nah, they're just talking. they're fine. We're just having a little chin-chat, for 10 hours.
It's not that ignorant.
It was weird seeing Odo displaying that sort of emotion, because normally he is someone that sticks to every single rule, doesn't show feelings that I can tell towards people. Obviously friendly, but to actually be so distracted, I don't know. It was interesting to see.
Yeah, he always plays for a straight man, and in this one, it was quite nice to see him break almost halfway through. Not that I obviously enjoy that for characters, but it was good. It was good TV. It's
weird that you guys kind of have the same opinion. I'm kind of countered to you. I thought it was so well written. Like, he clearly knows what's going on, and he clearly can understand what the situation is, but there is like an emotional barrier that's stopping him from, going to her in the first place and finally admitting it. Like, it's either some ignorance about how he should behave in this scenario or whatever, but he clearly, like, knows the whole deal here, and he just realizes that he was too late. But there's a scene where they sit together in Shakar's office. They both explain to each other the exact thing that they both have to do.
Yeah.
But Shakar actually is the one who acts on it first, and Odo does not, because he is slow, inexperienced. I don't know.
No, you are right, because that's that scene where Odo he's almost trying to like tell Shakar, like, don't go for a sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because she's still grieving for the other guy who died. I forget his name. You're right, and I sort of took it more as that Odo hasn't acted more out of like a anxiety kind of thing. He hasn't been able to pluck up the courage to do it. That fear of rejection kind of thing. That's how I took his inaction.
Yeah, I would say the same. I still think he should have said something. But then that could have made like it had the Dominion arc.
Yeah,
it could. The whole rest of the series could have been like an Odo and Kira love story arc. That would have been slightly different.
Yeah, no, my first reaction was to go, yeah, no, he should have said something. But actually, no, I don't think he should. I did kind of like how the episode ends basically sad.
But also happy for Odo.
Not a happy ending.
It's sad for us, but Odo's back in his comfort zone. So he seems
happy.
No,
he's not happy, though. He's almost like repressed everything. That's not a healthy way to process his emotions.
What Quark
Kira
told him
and
to do.
Shakar, they're happy.
Yeah. Quark told him to suppress it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, again, weird advice from Quark.
Well, I think that's more natural with his character, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose.
Here's the point, though. Here's the point for both of you, though. Why is it that Quark knows more about dealing with love and the rejection than Odo? Like, has Quark been through this himself? Does he understand? Did we ever find out about that?
Sorry, I was going to say maybe he's comparing it to the love of money that he has, and how he'd deal with money. He's sort of saying to Odo, this is how you should be with Kira. Maybe.
Now, I was going to say that Quark appears to be a much more emotionally mature character. He has a lot more complex, sort of open with his feelings, but also he tends bar, which means he sees the full spectrum of emotions from a lot of species all day, every day. That's what he does. And Quark he will say quite often that he's a good listener. So obviously he listens to a lot of stories. So even if he's not had personal experience, he's seen it firsthand.
Yeah, that's the point.
Just it feels the way it's portrayed, at least in that scene, as if he's experienced it personally.
Yeah, he might have done.
It's just it's never explored.
I'm trying to think if there's been any like Quark love stories. Okay, no, there was a Quark love story. I think it was like season 1, season 2, where that Ferengi female comes and works in the bar, but she's pretending to be a man so she can actually work and earn profit. And they kind of hit it off. It doesn't really go anywhere, but I forget her name because she was a great character. So yeah, there was that Quark love story.
I don't remember this episode.
Whenever
at
that
all.
was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like season 1, season 2. It was good. It was a really good one. Yeah, at one point, I guess Quark thought he was falling for this guy, but it turns out wasn't. He was, I don't know. Anyway, on the lift, the elevator scene where they have that assassination attempt just before the elevator starts falling down. They're talking about going out for dinner, Kira and Shakar, and she's like, "Oh, there's a new Bolian restaurant on the promenade. Sold, 100%." And she's talking about like cured meats, aged meats. I'm like, "Yeah, let's go. I want to go have some Bolian food." Because as you know, you guys, Bolians, they're the blue aliens with the line down their face. The guy who cuts the barber in TNG, he's a Bolian. So yeah,
are they similar to the ones that have the little sniffing pot in front of them, or whatever it's called? Like they're blue, but they're
no, that's a benzite.
That's what
It's B, and they are blue.
Yes, yeah.
Best species. Benzites and Packlets, they're the
Yeah.
best.
Packlets are the best.
Yeah, they
I
are.
actually also made the same notes because they make quite a lot of references throughout to various different species. They even reference the breen, like colder than a breen winter. And the
Yes,
breen-
I got that one too.
Yeah, the breen.
I love that.
The breen haven't even showed up yet, which is cool.
No. They're dropping hints.
Yeah, you also had the different foods. The thing when they're at that do where like sort of Shakar and Kira kind of then hit it off originally because she was about to leave early. They have like this burrito type thing. I'm trying to remember what the name was, but I can't find it.
Wasn't that the Hasperat?
Yeah, it was the Hasperat. That was it. Yeah, Hasperat.
Yeah. That famous Bajoran dish. Yeah, I do like DS9 for those. Like, it has those quite nice little touches. DS9 does feel very multicultural. It does feel like a melting pot of all these alien species coming together, and I love that. You get like the Klingon restaurant and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. Hub, I guess, for lots of different species, whereas most sort of Star Trek series are set in sort of a environment, whereas DS9 is more static, isn't it? So you get lots of visiting people, which is good.
Yeah, and people stick around enough to share their culture more than just a passing visit. Yeah.
Must be what like Earth modern like Star Trek Earth looks like. Because it's a federation,
Yeah,
so it must just have like all of the
pretty diverse.
all of the different like cultural elements, people's food and stuff.
Okay, I have another note, and this is back to one I brought up earlier about just transporting everywhere. The lift fails. Odo Bridge, free to transport out, emergency transport, beam out. Simple.
Yeah, but he does his blocking thing,
d-
doesn't he? With his
I know, which works.
yes, dramatic.
But the entire episode was like, just transport. Do we not have transporters in this episode? We have no transporters. They could have had a stupid little side conversation, which is like with O'Brien, being like, "Oh, all the bloody transporters are broke." It's just something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, Brian's not even in this. Well, he's in like one scene in the whole episode.
Yeah, he has like a line. Yeah.
He has like one line.
But yeah.
Speaking of the transporters, though, I made these notes. Is that the first time you ever see what a turbo lift looks like on the outside?
Ooh.
No, definitely not. We see it in TNG. I mean, it was done as a bit of crossover, but like the episode where Picard gets stuck in a lift with a bunch of kids, like we must see the outside then, surely.
I think they just cut to them climbing up the ladder, don't they?
Yeah, but you'd at least see like the top of it when you see like the bit where they're standing.
Yeah, but like
Before they get to the
it's more just like nobody in Star Trek knows how a turbo lift works, so it's just the first time.
No, we do now because we've seen Discovery and stuff, and those like just vast open spaces.
They're what? So you know how they work now?
Yeah. In Discovery, me and Tom have had this in an episode.
Okay.
There's just like humongous open spaces where these turbolifts fly around, and I was pointing out to Tom, I was like, that makes no sense.
Yeah,
like
so
apparently
inefficient.
space is not a premium in on starships, but no, they just it's kind of great, kind of stupid, and I kind of love it.
It's so inefficient because like in this
So inefficient.
in this like episode, it's clearly in like a shaft.
Well, yeah,
And it falls.
same in TNG, but we assume that they go into shafts just like a little bit, and then they sort of go left and right.
Right.
Because in TNG, you can hear it. The lift goes like, and you hear in the back, it makes like a little stop, a little pause, like, so you can like hear it moving across the ship. I don't know.
So how is it? Are they just like they float, or and because they go up and down, but also left and right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So when I don't know, Jacob. I know in Discovery they float about.
Well, this is what this podcast is for: asking the hard questions.
The real questions.
I'm just looking it up, Dan, and it says the first episode that shows the outside of a turbolift that gives you a glimpse of the expansive interior of the turbolift shaft is from Star Trek Discovery Season 3 finale. So I don't think there was one before that.
Well, we have one in this episode right now.
Maybe it means
in DS9.
Maybe it means entire. I
What?
don't know.
What is your source? Cite your source. Who's saying that? Is it ChatGPT?
AI generated answer. The term,
yeah, there we go.
But the term for AI cannot be faulted. But the turbo lift was actually mentioned for the first time in Where No Man Has Gone Before in the original series. So it's mentioned, but we didn't actually view it or understand the inner workings until, according to AI,
Okay, well,
Discovery Season 2.
Tom, when we get some earlier Star Trek, like early TNG or original series, we'll keep an eye out for turbo lifts going forward now in the rest of the podcast. Okay.
Cool. Didn't realise they had turbo lifts in original series.
They mention them.
Yeah, they have to put a little hand on the little hairdryer thing to
What?
make it go.
Hairdryer.
In the turbo lift in original series, they have to hold a lever to make it go. You can't just say deck 3. You have to hold a thing and then say deck 3.
Right. Okay.
Don't worry. When we get some original series, I'll point it out to you.
I've never watched original series, so.
Well, maybe we'll get one in a minute.
Oh,
Because I was just about to push it.
crossed.
Unless anyone has any more notes to wrapping this episode up.
I think I watched a couple of episodes with you, Dan. In fact, most of the episodes I've watched have been on the podcast.
Yeah, we've watched some original series. We watched
Oh, that one where the memory one. Oh,
the memory one.
yeah.
Um,
Remind me, I've forgotten.
Hang on, so there's two. There's the one where those guys took over the ship and turned everyone into little, like, cubes.
That one.
Salt cubes.
That's it.
And then
They got turned to salt cubes.
That was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
that was good. Was it by any other name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. There were so many. Anyway, does anybody have any other notes for this episode? Or I'm going to move us to the wrap up, reviews and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, just maybe last thing. I don't know if we mentioned it. What's your general overall, like, did you like the fact that he's all sad at the end? Like, and how his, like, friendship's growing with Quark, and he's no longer now going to be, like, hanging out with Kira?
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit earlier, is like that. I think Tom mentioned something, and I was like, oh, and I changed my answer. I was like, actually, no, I do like the episode is almost unresolved, and he is sad. Yeah. We don't really get a happy ending. I do kind of like that. I obviously like Quark's and his like ongoing relationship. Didn't quite click me in this episode, but for the most part, yeah, I was pretty happy with the ending. How about you?
Yeah, well, I'll go. I liked the ending because I think if it had ended happy, it would have felt forced. The fact is that he's now changed his whole routine to avoid Kira. And even though she gave him like that, oh, you sure? I enjoy spending time with you sort of thing. He could have said, oh, okay, let's continue having these meetings. He would have just got closer and closer. So I like the fact that he cut it off and he went back to what I think makes him happiest, which is having his routine, like he was talking about with Worf, and he can go back to having and go back to his, his thinking being more clear and everything. I just liked it. I think it ended up the best it could.
Yeah, it's all repressed feelings though. So you know it's going to come back. It's going to
not
reoccur.
Not with Oda though. I don't know. I think
storyline.
once he's set his mind to something, I don't think he'll go back to it.
You think?
Unless there's an episode I haven't seen where romance blossoms again, which it sounds like there is.
I mean, and who could know?
Yeah,
Nobody would know
exactly.
this. No, exactly. Jacob, did you like the ending?
I thought it was probably one of the best character development episodes that you would get. Like, I mean, as a rewatch, obviously I think the guy wandering around is stupid at the beginning, being like, oh, whatever, do whatever I want. But apart from that, on a rewatch, for me, that was excellently well written. I think it was a great character development, and I love how that sort of develops massively over time. Like, it's not... What's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't just like, this is a one-off thing. It has implications down the line, and it's all centered around Odo himself, and it's just only his thing. It was a good bit of character there, and he's basically, again, it's like Data. I think best way to represent it, right? You have a Data episode, and he's becoming more human. This is an Odo episode. He's becoming more human, and I think it was just really well done.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. Like, you're right. This is a character episode with some really good character development and just some pretty strong moments. Yeah, well said. Very succinct.
I had one last thing.
Go.
I missed. What do you think about their formal uniforms?
Oh, I love them.
Just the same thing, but with a shiny thing down their arm.
Yeah, and I love the little quip that Bashir gives O'Brien about looking good and making his figure look good. He's like, no.
You're fat, mate.
yeah, basically. I love that. That was great. Yeah, no, I love all the formal dress and all the various Star Treks. I think it's great. I love them. They all look stupid. Right, I want some final thoughts, and I want an IMDb rating. Who wants to go first? Someone volunteer.
I'll go first.
I volunteer Tom. Yeah, there we go.
Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, so I came into this episode, as I said earlier, not really knowing what to expect. I knew it was going to be a bit of a love story, and they kind of hit almost with Star Trek. This one I actually really enjoyed. I knew from watching DS9 in the past that Kira and Odo had a bit of a friendship toward each other, and maybe more than that. But this one was dealt with really nicely, because obviously you see Odo's side, you see how strongly he feels towards Kira, and you see Kira kind of infatuated with what's the guy's name? Kassar?
Shakar.
You see that infatuated with Shakar and sort of maybe missing the subtle clues that Odo might be sending. But I think it was dealt with really well. Obviously, there's some stupid moments in the episode, like when Shakar was wandering around just going for a walk when there's someone that's like a possible assassination threat or assignation threat that could have possibly killed him. But yeah, I thought it was good, and all the way up to the ending when we had a bit of discussion, like, did we think it ended right, or how did we feel about it? Some people liked it, some people didn't. I really liked it. I think it ended in a way that Odo's gone back to what brings him happiness. Yes, he's repressed his feelings. Kira's, happy. So it ended on a bittersweet note, I think. So on the whole, the episode I really enjoyed. I would give it an IMDb rating of 7.8.
Good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
One correction. I think we did all like the ending.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I also like that he mentions the misspelling of assassin, and now you're going to have
yes,
to keep that in,
I love
so
that.
that there's continuity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were discussing continuity earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
So I thought it was important.
I love how I could just see you sat there, Tom, with kind of like a straight face, but like almost smirking that you said that.
Yeah, you know me too well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, great, excellent. 7.8. That's a really good score. I'll go next. I'll let you go for last, Jacob. Pretty much what you said, Tom. It was a really good episode. I had fairly low expectations because I thought it was a different episode. And I really liked the whole sort of almost like day in the life kind of thing with Odo. You just got to see like his fairly regular routine. I really like that. It was a fairly peaceful kind of DS9 episode. There wasn't much drama as such. It was more like a personal thing. So I really liked that. I thought it was a pretty. It felt quite honest and genuine, like Kira and Shakar's relationship building and that sort of romance going on. That felt pretty natural. And again, what Odo was going through felt really good. Felt really natural. Didn't feel forced at any sort of real points. The only thing that felt forced was the Quark thing, which I mentioned. But other than that, episode was really good. And yeah, I'm gonna go like a 7.5. It's like really good, really good. It's not like amazing, but it's really good. Definitely well above average.
Yeah, respectable score.
Yeah, Jacob.
So I agree with all of your guys' points. I don't think I can add much more because I think you kind of all summed up pretty well. I think it was a very well written episode, and what we haven't mentioned was I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Remy Auberjonois. I can't pronounce.
Rene Auberjonois.
Yeah, Auberjonois. Yeah. He acted so well in this episode. I think he did a great job. Trying to bring across emotion behind a mask is not easy to do, and he did it fantastically. Now, as for the IMDb score, it's a good thing I went last, because when I was looking up this actor who was in Sub Rosa, I accidentally saw the score. So I can tell you guys I can tell you what the score is, guys, if you want me to.
No, if you could try and give us a genuine, unbiased score from yourself, and then we'll do the actual one in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of tending towards 8, personally.
8.
Yeah, I would have given it
pretty
an
good.
8. It's
Good
pretty
score.
high. Maybe I'd go even higher. Actually, on a second watch, I liked it pretty much, but
Yeah, no, it's really good. Good score.
yeah,
okay,
I
Jacob.
might actually give it an 8.5 to be honest.
Wow.
I'd give it
Oh, an 8.5. Okie dokie. Even better.
It was just very
well,
good.
Jacob, as you know the actual IMDb, do you want to tell us? Because normally I look it up, but go ahead.
7.1.
Oh, that's
7.1.
surprisingly
Yeah.
low.
That is a touch lower than I would have thought. I don't think tend to generally gel with the whole Kira Odo thing.
I
I'm
didn't-
sort of one of them,
yeah.
but this was good. It's even as just like almost like a standalone.
As a single watch, I think that's why I preferred it. Because if I didn't know about
Yeah.
that whole like love story thing, I'm kind of less bothered about. Because I forgot it, obviously. But I think that's why I rated it higher. It's such a well written episode and well done.
Yeah, we was all sort of like in the same sort of region of on the same train of thought. I always like that when we all come in kind of the same. I also love it when like we're vastly different. When like Tom gives it an 8, I'm like, no, that's fucking shit. I want to give it a 2. I love that.
I actually have to retract a statement I made earlier. It seems on IMDb it says that this episode aired August 14th, 1997.
Oh.
Whereas
97. Oh, a whole year later.
Well, as I said before, it was 23rd January 1996. So IMDb's got a different number from what I got with Wikipedia.
Somebody's wrong then.
Or Memory
Yeah,
Alpha.
either IMDb or Wikipedia. Memory Alpha.
Which
yeah.
one's correct?
Who do you trust?
Yeah. So I guess they did film it in 96.
Okay, we need to choose another episode. Jacob, you'll come along with us on this journey. This will be your second episode for us of this season 3
An experience.
experience. Yeah, you're now sort of firmly in the main cast, not just no longer bonus.
I got upgraded. See, we got money, and that means that I could be paid.
We got money.
Well,
No.
all our patrons,
No one told me.
all our fundraising,
Yeah.
has gone to good use.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he raised a pound.
Did one of you guys start OnlyFans, did you?
Yeah,
Tom's OnlyFans account, that was meant to be secret. You're not meant to bring that up. In the
exactly.
Yeah.
Our main budget.
Well, as you all know, we will watch 2-part episodes. We don't watch whole story arcs. If we get the same episode, we'll go up or down. The previous selection isn't allowed, so we can't watch DS9 again. And we can't get the same show twice per season, which so far hasn't happened. So, apart from DS9, anything's fair game at the moment. And I can't remember how many episodes should be on your list, Tom.
I'm just trying to find my list.
I want to say 12 or 13 because we completely finish all the very short tracks. Yeah, Tom, if you could select as an episode from your list. Sorry, a show, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to go to my randomizer. Go and roll. We actually have Picard.
Picard,
Oh,
excellent.
for
Jacob's
fuck's
favourite.
sake.
Is this our first Picard episode?
No.
It is in main
Yeah.
Warp Factor Unknown. But we
Yeah.
had it in a bonus before. Me
Right.
and Jacob had that
Okay.
a while ago now.
It was garbage. I hated it.
Yeah?
Please roll for season 3 because season
Okay.
3 is so good.
Yeah,
I'll roll for season 3. So let's see, 3. Oh, funnily enough, I actually just got season 3. So
Yes!
I did 1 to 3
Yes!
and I pressed random. Okay, that's good. So how many episodes are in season 3?
Oh, probably like 9. I'll have a
Isn't
look.
it 10 or is it 8?
I'm going to guess 10 as well.
10.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. So random roll. Episode 6.
6.
I was
Nice in the middle.
I was hoping you were going to go to the later part. I think it's either the last episode, second to last episode, and then we have the museum of ships because we could then talk for like
yeah, man.
45
I love
minutes
that
about
bit.
this museum of ships. Which
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah, well, the episode is called The Bounty. And I'm going to find us a synopsis.
Oh, this
Okay.
is a good one. We can actually, we can talk about a bunch of random Star Trek references.
See, that's good. That's what we need. Okay. Now on the run, Picard and the skeleton crew of the USS Titan must break into Starfleet's most top-secret facility to expose a plot that could destroy the Federation. Picard must turn to the only soul in the galaxy who can help, an old friend.
I wonder
Excellent.
who that is.
Yes, I remember that episode. That was really good.
Yeah.
They break into and they find. Is this the one they go find Data? They find
Yes,
Data, I think.
Yeah, they find
Spoilers,
Data.
they find
It's
Data.
Data and it's B4 and Law.
Oh, that's it. B4. Yeah.
And then you've got all of the different pods with all sorts of there's a Tribble, there's
Yes.
the skeleton of Kirk, there's a bunch of other
Is
stuff. Yeah, it's in there.
Excellent.
So there's all these sorts of things that they're trying to set up for future Star Trek stuff, and they've not done anything with it.
Is this the episode where Worf makes that brilliant joke about knives being more fun?
Maybe this is the first episode he shows up in, I think.
Oh, I hope so. That was a really good joke. Like him and Riker are fighting along, and he's got his knife, and
Oh yes, it might be. Yeah.
Riker's like, "Oh shit," and he's like, "You had a gun the whole time? You had a phaser the whole time?"
Oh yeah, it might. Yeah, it might be that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is
Anyway,
some.
that's a good one.
I'd
That's
say
a good one.
season 3 Picard. There are some really good Worf jokes in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's all Worf is good for, really, just cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Die.
Oh yeah, that's the best one.
That's his best
How can
joke.
I prove to you I'm human? Die.
It's like a single word kills it. Thank you for listening to Warp Factor Unknown. I've been your host, Dan, and I've been joined by my co-host, Tom.
Pleasure as usual.
We've also been joined by our co-host, Jacob.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Join us next time as we take another deep dive into the Star Trek universe and we talk about Star Trek Picard, The Bounty, Season 3, Episode 6. Until then, thank you for your continued support. If you want to contact us, please email us at warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. Again, it's warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. Don't forget to give us a like, a share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma. She would love this podcast. The music we use for this podcast is called Starfleet Command by Jeff Harvey.